Hi everyone, and welcome to a new episode of Day's Podcast along with a new video. So I have just completed talking about all of Michael Jackson's albums from Off the Wall to Invincible. So I will be making a little playlist where you guys can watch it in order and be able to check them all out. Of course, be able to check out all episodes and like and subscribe. There will be more Patreon videos soon. So today I wanted to talk about Janet Jackson's Damita Jo album, and for the sake of it being 20 years, since it's been released, and for the last album that I had talked about, which was All For You, why not keep going? So let's talk about it. Damita Jo is the 8th studio album by American singer Janet Jackson. EMI Music Japan released it first in Japan on March 22nd, 2004, before it's released in Europe by EMI a week later. It was released in the United States by Virgin Records on March 30th, 2004. Jackson began work on the album in August 2002 after finishing the All For You tour, and continued until February 2004 with the help from a wide range of producers, with Babyface, Dallas Austin, Kanye West, and Scott Storch, in addition to Jackson's long-term collaborators, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. Titled after Jackson's middle name, Damita Jo is a R&B, pop, and hip-hop album that explores themes of love and romance. Damita Jo debuted at number 2 on the US Billboard 200 and was considered a disappointment by the media compared to Jackson's previous efforts. To promote it, 3 singles were released: Just a Little While, I Want You, and All Night Don't Stop, while R&B Junkie was issued as a promotional single. Damita Jo received mixed reviews from music critics who praised its production but were dismissive of its excessive sexual content and its overlong duration. It was nominated for Best Contemporary R&B Album, while I Want You received a nomination for Best Female R&B Vocal Performance at the 47th Annual Grammy Awards. The album sold 3 million copies worldwide. Jackson's performance at the Super Bowl halftime show prior to the album's release, which ended in Jackson's breast being it's actually this side, being accidentally exposed by surprise guest Justin Timberlake, had a major effect on the album's commercial performance. Conglomerates involved with the broadcast, who received massive fines from the U.S. Federal Communications Commission, including Viacom and subsidiaries CBS, MTV, and Infinity Broadcasting, enforced a blacklist of Jackson's singles and music videos, although Timberlake remained unaffected. The blacklisting drew controversy amongst critics, who declared the album and its singles to likely have been commercially successful had the incident not occurred. So that was just a lot to take in. Let's just start with me saying this. At that time, because I'm like 9 in the midst of all this, because I didn't turn 10 yet. It wasn't May yet. But at that time, it couldn't have just been me, because it's most Janet fans that I even see currently that feel this way. At that time, it just dawned me where it was just like, that wasn't her fault. And it just, it was always something you kind of just, you know how they say nowadays, catch it. Oh, catch it. Catch that. It was just something at that time for, not even, I guess, black women, but just women in the industry, which it just, I was seeing it front row center like most people at that time, because nowadays, we really are getting the understanding that everyone's just not really being treated right. But at that time, you had to catch it, as far as where they're kind of doing a lot to make this woman not appeal or not appear in a way because of certain things, as opposed to men, where if certain things were to happen, yeah, it'd be the similar ridicule, but it wouldn't be like a bounce back that would have to take years, and that's what gets me, because it didn't have to be a Janet thing. There were other artists that did much worse, or had much worse going on, and it's just coming out now. It's not even something that we can't say is not out there. It's being proven as we speak. But it's just, she really took a lot from that, because it says it, and I agree. I feel as though if let's just say this, because I'm gonna be talking with the Janet fans here. At the part where it's "I'm gonna have you naked" by the end of this song, if she had walked away and just was like, I'm done with the performance, just have the audience feel like, why didn't she go towards him? Like, imagine how that would have been, in a sense of where it's just like, musically, okay, she's walking away from him, she got something coming for us, we know it, boom, the album. It's not even so much, it didn't make the album, like, the album was great to me, still is to this day. And why I feel like it was great to me is because, like they said, it just would have been more successful had that had not happened. So I'm looking at the music side of it, and I'm just like, as I'm listening, and this is me at a young age, I'm just like, damn, why did that happen to her? Like, that's how I feel. Like, I just feel like that was just, it was just a fucked up situation. Like, it's not whether who's to blame and who wants to, make it more of whoever's fault. It's just, it could have been helped, maybe. I'm not the person that was there. I just know that the way that they portrayed her, and how I'm going to speak in defense, she would go interview to interview, be like, that wasn't supposed to happen that way, and explain and really show truthfulness to the fact that, we're talking about the album. Like, I hate that is something that has happened in my life. I hate, like, she really was letting people know, even into 20YO, when people was possibly still asking, like, I know it's been a while since you released an album, and from the incident, and it's just, she got, I feel for her on that. Like, it was just a whole black cloud that was just formed, because it was just like, oh my God, why did you do that? And it's like, you could see that she's like, whoa, like, she's like, whoa. It's not, there's a difference. There's a difference between, and then that's the thing, those after her, as far as musically, who are in music videos, where it's just pasties, and just, we watching like it's nothing. And yes, it may be pre-recorded. And yes, it may be under a promotion and for a package, an album, if you will. This was an accident. And that's why I say to myself, the general public, y'all be trying it when it comes to just, I won't even say y'all, I just feel like there'd be like a selection of people, and then there'd be like the people that are connected with that selection of people that be like, I agree with you, and because I fucks with you, yes, this is what it is. And it's just like, damn, where's the unbiased side of it all? Like, why is no one understanding that this girl literally looked down, looked up, even before they just had to quickly flash the fact that it even happened, because it was only a 2-second thing. It wasn't even something that was just like, oh my God, guys, like, it wasn't like that. And I'm defending it down because I've seen her twice. I just No, I've seen her in concert twice. Like, I just don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. She is all and well and at peace with it all, and is touring down. And I'm very proud and grateful for Miss Jackson and for everything she's done. And that's why I just, again, as a fan, I just feel like, you know, it just was kind of weird that, you know, they, you know, just looking at the background and development, like, from All For You, you know, she wanted to do things a little differently, and you know, Jackson released her 7th album, All For You, and you know, it just from that, from the completion of the tour, it just, you know, she, where does it say here? Her longtime collaborator, Jimmy Jam, stated that they talked about a million different possible things to do and finally decided to do a brand new album, as the singer was itching to get back in the studio, hoping to release it in early 2003. As Jackson completed work on the album, she was featured as a performer. And that's the thing, she was featured as a performer on the Super Bowl halftime show, which took place February 1st, 2004. Although the costume tier was orchestrated, her breast exposure was not the intended result. However, the singer suffered backlash from the media, who accused her of planning the incident as a publicity stunt for her then upcoming album. So, like, the people assumed at that time, oh, she wanted to do that. Look at all the songs that she's made in the past talking about nasty and anytime, any place. She wanted her breast out. She has an album coming, so she wants to give us a publicity stunt. And it just dawned me, because, like, Janet doesn't have to go to that length. If she wanted to go to a point where it was gonna get close to doing that, which she kind of did already, she would put it in a video. You know, like, it just was horrible. But the themes themselves were between love and romance, discussing lust and monogamous intimacy. An underlying theme of alternative personalities is explored, with Jackson's substitute personae, Damita Jo and Strawberry, appearing on several songs. So she had, you know, personas also. And that's something that people didn't really catch too. Like, you have to catch it. See? Yeah, she had herself, Damita Jo, and Strawberry. And Jackson explained that the record shows different characters of her personality, which she displays at different moments in her life, as well as a more private side to her. Spliced between several songs are mystifying interludes in which the singer attempts to intimately communicate her inner thoughts with the listener, commenting on the album's themes. Jackson said, "If there's any obsession at all, it's this culture's demand that we be sexually categorized as either gay, straight, or bi. I do think they oversimplify sexuality." It's something that I'm talking about this in Pride Month, huh? If we accept those categories, we feel constrained to choose, but the categories are artificial and often arbitrary. Yeah, arbitrary. I don't know how to say that word. Arbitrary. Yeah. We aren't one thing, but many things. We're everything at once, at different times in our life, at different times in the course of a single day. We respond in different ways. The common denominator shouldn't be sexual preference. It should be love. I like to think Damita Jo is all about love. So, and that was another thing too, with it being Pride Month, the LGBTQ community was, of course, starting to rise a bit more, and marketing into different movies and shows, because why not? You know, it kind of gets boring seeing same couples, straight couples, not like being in the same room. It's getting boring not hearing, you know, an artist that may like the same sex express things in a way where you say to yourself, are they even looking at the same sex? Because it seems like they're not. They're conveying it in such a way where it's just universal. It's like, yeah, like it shouldn't matter. And that's what Janet wanted to do. And Janet has been doing that. And honestly, may have been doing that even in the midst of Control. Just letting people know, like, listen, like, have control of your life. You know, do what you want to do. Be safe about it. Be happy about it. Take your time. Let's wait a while, you know. But yeah. Alternate identities presented include Damita Jo, an aggressive persona mentioned during the album's title track and Sexhibition, as well as Strawberry, a performer who emerges on Strawberry Bounce. Speaking about the personae, Jackson said, "She's another way to express and expose a deeper part of me." She detailed their personalities, revealing that Damita Jo was a lot harsher and quick to put you in your place, whereas Strawberry was the most sexual of them all and the wildest one. Someone has said in an article that a time when she doesn't need to be the polite professional Janet and can turn into raw, unrestrained Strawberry. Jackson added, "It's not an everyday indulgence, not even every week, but every now and then I like playing around in that mode." She further said that the characters absolutely live inside of her, and it feels wonderful to release them. Following the incident at the Super Bowl halftime show, Jackson was urged to remove or tone down the suggestive lyrics of several songs, but resisted pressure to do so. "A lot of people had concerns and wanted me to take certain songs off the album, but I refused because because in doing so, I wouldn't be who I am. I'm not going to change, and that's fine. Either they like it or they don't," she stated. And so, yeah, like, it makes sense as to, so the album didn't do as well. Of course, people were feeling an outrage because they really felt like she just wanted to bear herself, and that wasn't the case. And mind you, Usher's Confessions was coming out in the midst of that time, which is, I'm not, this is the y'all, it's just the irony that Usher can be shirtless, confess the fact that he did something wrong, you know, and it's his product, it's his aesthetic, it's him, it's his life. And like I said, he had that, like I'm respecting him and her in the same sentence. He had it pre-recorded, pre-packaged. It was part of the era. So for something that was an accident, and even if she had something in midst of era sense that's similar, despite him topping the charts, y'all look at her and be like, she did that on purpose. And that's why it just doesn't make any sense. And it just like I said, it just dawns me where it's just like, at that time, a man can, you know, be shirtless and talk about "I love you," and as long as it's pre-recorded and all the girls and all the money's being made and get the drinks and whatever you want and is in the mix, it don't matter. And it wasn't just Usher. There was all types of men that was out just shirtless, or just, you know, wearing the baggy clothes, or the you know, whatever the case may be. Like, there was all different types of people that were coming out and showing who they were, respectfully. Even in, you know, alternative and rock, you know, they were having a sense of kind of getting more punk into the scene at this point. You know, there was more punk rock going on. We already had Evanescence, and, you know, we already had Paramore about to come into the scene. Like, there was just certain people. Yeah. There was so much going on, but just like I said, there was just so much that was being conveyed in such an artistic way at its peak in the 2000s that one little incident was just blacklist, and she was part of that. She's not the only one. That's another thing I want to let y'all know. She's not the only one in that time that got blacklisted for, you know, one incident, one mistake. Whether it's something that they chose to do and it didn't go right, or because in the midst of whatever had happened, allegedly, that they had to understand the consequences for. And yeah, it just, but what I'm trying to say is the blacklisting was more or less on women at the time. And it may kind of still be, because there's still women that are, still fighting to kind of do certain things. And commercial blacklist. They have a whole segment talking about it. And to be honest with you, I'd rather, there can be a part 2 for the Patreon for this. Okay, because I didn't not talk more about what had happened, but you know. But yes, let's talk about the track list. As far as the track list goes, we have Looking for Love, we have Damita Jo, we have Sexhibition, we have Strawberry Bounce. So I'm gonna make sure I connect everybody with these songs alone, because I feel like that's where people kind of were like losing the sense of wanting to listen to the album. So she didn't do anything different from how she did Janet, period, from 1993, which is 10 years damn near prior, where it's just like, all right, I don't really have like the smooth, sensual songs starting, but you're definitely gonna get more upbeat, and yes, I'm gonna be promiscuous a little bit, you know, maybe more now because I'm much older, but the sequence wasn't as different for people to not take it in that way. Sexhibition was different, and Strawberry Bounce was different. And Kanye West worked on Strawberry Bounce, you know? So I feel like track 3 and track 4 is where people were kind of like, what are these songs really about? And yeah, it's her personas. As far as My Baby, that's track 5 with Kanye West. And then The Islands, which is an interlude. Spending Time With You, that's an underrated slept on song, I'm sorry. As far as, Spending Time With You, like I can remember having my Walkman and it's soothing, it's nice. Listening to it now, it does make me think about the R&B and soul side of things, and it was okay to be cheap, damn it. Like, you know, you could just have like shirts weren't as expensive, the food wasn't as expensive. Like, just at the time, when you had something, you just enjoyed it. Now it's just you need more, you need this, you need the day ain't done, something ain't done. It's just annoying. No, it shouldn't always be like that. As far as the next song, Magic Hour, you know, so Magic Hour and The Islands, those are both interludes that kind of lead into the next song. So that's why it kind of like makes the album seem longer, but it's not. She's just having a little bit more intimate conversations. She's actually talking to us in this album a little bit more compared to her previous albums, because in her previous albums, it wasn't even so much she didn't talk or did. It was just like certain parts of the album, like here, done. You know what I mean? Like, she's actually like walking us through the album in this one, which, like I said, if the incident didn't happen, you know, it would have probably been more of a storytelling and would have been received a lot better, compared to people just automatically just being like, no, she just wants to just be nasty. Yeah, when she's Miss Jackson. But in the moment of the Super Bowl, she was, you know, letting people know, like, you know, this was not my fault. Island Life, that's a good song too. I think people should listen to Island Life when they're driving. Put Island Life on when you're driving. I feel like when you listen to it when you're sitting down, you're kind of like, all right, you know, I'm jamming with the DJ. I know that song. Like, you gotta get into her. But yeah, like, listen to that when you're driving or out and about. That's more of an up-tempo song that is, yeah, slept on, not really heard in the sense of where it's like completely at you, because it kind of reels you in still too. All Night Don't Stop, however, track 10, now that's at you. And I love that song. Music video is great. It kind of lets you know that, you know, she would have probably did a lot more in that music video despite what had happened, but hey, you know, we got what we was able to get. I appreciate it all. R&B Junkie. There's I Want You. So I Want You and All Night Don't Stop, to me, they seem like, you know, in the same realm. And then it's just the way that those songs come on, they're right at you. And, you know, it's Kanye worked on I Want You. You know, it's good to hear the sense of different people working together and how it comes together. Like You Don't Love Me. So before I even go into Like You Don't Love Me, y'all slept on R&B Junkie. I feel like bumping to some old school. Like, that's another song that you can listen to in the car or when you're out. It's a song that, you know, you really have to just get into. Like, I wouldn't say that it's something that you have to have high expectations for, and I think that's what it was at that time, because she wanted to give a more relatable album that was more close to home, and then I feel like that's what this was in some ways in her career, where she already explored certain things but at such a magnitude, so she kind of wanted to make it not so much where it was toned down, because of course the cover is but it's just at the same time, it's just, come on. Give her some credit. Give her all the credit. Give her 10s. How about that? Yeah, so Like You Don't Love Me, that was pretty much, you know, as the title says, like, you know, you acting a little different. Like, what's going on around here? Like, you gotta be gentle, just be an animal. Like, just change the way things are for me to understand that you not acting a certain way. And make me not be feeling like things are not where they should be as we thought they could be, right? You know, just, but then there's track 14 where it's Thinking About My Ex. Babyface was on this. He collaborated with this. And that song, you know, I feel like that puts the perspective of just in her life, whether it was just from marriages or from whatever she had went through, or anyone has went through, where you kind of just be like, that person meant something, but I don't want to give the impression that you don't either. You know, that's just that type of conversation. Because track 15, Warmth, is like, you still here, right? You know, Warmth is more, you know, in depth of just her kind of getting sensual, and then Moist is just right there. Just Moist is, so Warmth and Moist go together. If you're listening through the album as a Janet fan, Warm and Moist go together. They piece in where she's coming from, where it's like, you know, I'm having an insecurity here, but I'm not so insecure right now, so do what you must. And she meant it. Like, she really did. Like, Moist, it's Moist you can listen to at home. You can blast Moist outside, but I mean, if the beat would make you understand that it could be blasted, but in a sense that when you hear it, yeah, but I mean, you can listen to Moist any way you want to, and it goes there, okay? It all comes down to love, another interlude. Like I said, since we had previous interludes near towards the beginning of the album, and now we're at more interludes towards the end. Truly that's one of my favorites that's very much underrated because no one talks about Truly like that. I'm actually going to talk about Truly today, like right now. So yeah, Truly, that's one of those songs that she just dissects, identifies, and realizes, like, I love you. Like, this is not a doubt. This is not, I'm saying it because the moment is convenient and I feel good with you. She says, I want to get away with you. Just if I gave my all to you, just holding someone special. If you was to listen to, so spending time with you and Truly are kind of like opposites attract, if you will, because spending time with you is already just that sense of knowing, that's my, whatever ring y'all got on, that's my man, that's my woman, we together. And Truly is, even if that is not on, you're having that realization from everything you do with that person in such a soft but delicate and loving way where you're like, I love you. Like, yeah. And then 19, very much fitting, track list, The One. She says, the one is the all we need, the one is the breath we breathe, the one is love. Yeah. I'm not, there's nothing here besides the track list. I'm going based off of what I remember back then, 20 years ago. And there was so much that could have been received better with this album had it not came out in such a delicate time from that incident. Because if it was a January release, if it was something like this that was already done, January release, before the Super Bowl and that happened, I'm not saying whether things would have been looked at much worse or not, or whether album sales would have depleted. I don't know. All I know is this. To me, this will still and always will be a great album. I don't care. Slow Love, track 20. That's slept on. That's completely slept on. I don't know why no one plays that song. Like Slow Love is why we have Rock With You in such a way. For me, like, I feel like if you listen to Slow Love, you'll understand where Rock With You came from, besides the title being similar to the essence of even possibly Michael with his own Rock With You. Because she says it, I want to rock with you, and he also says it too. So it's just Slow Love. To me, it seems like that's something that, you can hear the sense of it being like a lounge club, just futuristic. We're out here, let's have our drinks, let's party, let's order some food, hang with friends, or just have a great night out. Like, it's a good song. It's a good song. Country, that's an interlude. And then Just a Little While. Just a Little While, it's not crazy poppy, but you get it. It's a song that is really happy and showing much love and dedication to the person you care about, and in such a happy way, and See, there was Japanese bonus tracks called I'm Here and Put Your Hands On. See, I didn't hear those. I'm gonna do a separate video where I'm kind of like talking with y'all about bonus tracks that I didn't get to hear and kind of just come back to you about how I heard them and how they are. I may just do that too. But yeah, from all 22 tracks and even just from the sense of just how the album was and still is to this day, it's very much a legendary album. Yeah, critical reception. It received mixed reviews. Someone has observed that despite negative publicity surrounding the album, Jackson was not sweating it musically, as the freely pursues her sexual and love fantasies on it, noting that this is a happy, loving Jackson, as prone to romantic walks on the beach as to roadside quickies. So, I mean, that's one of the, someone else has stated strike rate is remarkably high, it's triumphant stuff. So yeah, like I said, like, the album would have had a better reception, and I feel like people heard the fact that she was musically doing great, but the whole sense of what was going on in the media just overshadowed, and it just was not cool. But I respect Miss Jackson, and I love the fact that I was able to do this. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and episode, and I'll be back with more.